Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Senvo, and I like talking about video game music. What a shock, right? Like, does this guy talk about anything besides video game music? Well, I like talking about video games in general. I also like talking about, art design and artistic things, and I like talking about putting together different sentences, stuff, all kinds of stuff, Anyways, back on subject. I've run into something that's interesting about Castlevania lately. But before we get into that, I wanted to say that T-Vi hasn't had much of a voice on this channel, and I kind of want to change that. We all love T-Vi and want to get to know her better, right? Right, so like I was saying, there's a weird problem within the Castlevania community involving the music. So the issue is that there are many artists that worked on Castlevania's music, but I see time and time again it wrongly attributed to Michiru Yamane. Michiru Yamane is simply an amazing and adaptable musical composer, no doubt, and her contributions to the VGM community are astounding. She worked on Castlevania for many years, obviously, but she has done work on many other games as well. Some of the most notable ones are Rocket Knight Adventures, and its slightly edgier brother, Sparkster, Rocket Knight Adventures 2. So Michiru Yamane didn't really hop onto the Castlevania series for quite some time. Her first foray into Castlevania was in 1994 with Castlevania Bloodlines. Where she did the entire soundtrack as well as all the sound effects. So if Bloodlines was the first game she worked on, that means there were 10 games before her first. My god. So you mean to tell me she wasn't involved in Castlevania 1, 2, 3, Super 4, The Adventure, we don't talk about The Adventure, Belmont's Revenge, or Rondo of Blood? That's a good question. As well as my cue to bore you to death. So, also, just to preface really quick, I am not Japanese, and I do not know how to speak Japanese, so I am going to butcher these names. I apologize. But, yeah. Here we go. The first game included Kinuyo Yamashita and Satoe Terashima. This is where we got Vampire Killer and Wicked Child, as well as some other notable entries. I won't get into like every single one because we'd take forever, but yeah. For the next game, Satoe came back, and 2 new composers were brought in. Kenichi Matsubara and Koji Norara. This is where things really start heating up with some absolute bangers and atmospheric themes alike, with Bloody Tears and The Silence of Daylight. Once again, we're not getting into every single song, so I'll just do notable ones. After that... I can't... It's too... Sorry, it pains me to remember, but then we have Castlevania The Adventure. This introduced Koichi Kimura and Nobuya Nakazato, who did a fantastic job, but I don't hear about these tracks too much, to be honest. Probably because of the first rule, which is never to talk about this game. Anyways, then you have the Mac Daddy of them all, widely regarded as the best soundtrack on the NES and Famicom, period. Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. They brought on 4 new composers for this one and really pushed for the sound to be next level by implementing a chip in the cartridge to expand the sound capabilities of the Famicom version of the game. The composers were Hidenori Meizawa, Jun Funahashi, Yuki Morimoto, and Yoshinori Sasaki. Then came Belmont's Revenge, which, as always, has a very well done and technically sound soundtrack for the system, but once again, no one really talks about these tracks. Only one composer this time, which is ridiculous because there's like 20 tracks in this game. Their name is Hidehiro Funauchi. Yeah, well, personally, I'm not a fan. But I gotta give credit where credit is due, and they definitely put a lot of work into making these tracks worth listening to. Some notable tracks are Simon's Theme and The Limestone Cavern. Alright, now we're talking Castlevania Rondo of Blood. This game is amazing. 4 new composers again: Akira Soji, Keizo Kakamura, Tomoko Sano, and Miko Saito. It's an astounding listen all the way through the soundtrack, but a lot of tracks were remixes of existing songs originally composed by the artists we talked about earlier. That being said, the original tracks stand out too. You have Cemetery, Slash, Picture of a Ghost Ship, and OP-13. Konami really, at every step in Castlevania's process, pushed the envelope as much as they possibly could. After all that, finally enters Michiru Yamane for her role composing for Castlevania Bloodlines. I know that took a long time and it was kind of like a TLDR moment, but I really wanted to emphasize how much history there was before Yamane was ever even involved. Well, I just don't like it when people are like, "Oh man, I sure do love Michiru Yamane, Bloody Tears is my favorite." It's like, bro, you're not making any sense. You know what? The new antenna I was gonna get? I'm canceling it right now. Look, we all had to learn at some point in our life we were uninformed about things that we were blatantly confident about mansplaining on the internet. That's because you're not allowed to use the internet, T-Vi. You know what happened last time. Anyway, that's it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Hit subscribe, and yeah, if you like this content, maybe throw us a bone. Later.